Honorable members, I will call this meeting to order with the nominee.
I hereby administer the oath to the nominee.
I, John Matthew Kofi Setor Dumelo,
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Are you ready?
Almost.
That's good enough for me.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you so much,
my brother.
Chairman.
I want to give you the opportunity to say a few words about yourself in 2 or 3 minutes, please.
Thank you so much. My name is John Matthew Kofi Setor Dumelo. I was born in Accra, raised in Tema. I went to Christ the King International School, went to Achimota. I've always had a passion for agriculture and film. I did my first film in 1991. I got into farm agriculture. I've always had a passion for agric. I've always followed my passion. I found myself in politics from 2012 onwards. 2016, I campaigned around the whole country for President Mahama and the NDC. 2020, I contested for the Ayawaso West Wagon seat. I nearly won. I didn't win. 2024, I tried again, but this time around, I was successful. And so my life has been a little bit of up and down, but all in all, I'm grateful for today. And then also, I'm also grateful for the parents.
The Honorable Minority Leader.
Honorable nominee, on page 2 of your CV, and you're saying that you did GIMPA BA in Public Administration, 2016 to 2022. Correct?
Mr. Chairman, I think that was a mistake. It was 2016 to 2020.
So you will take the leave of chair to amend it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I haven't given you the leave yet,
Sorry.
Honorable Nominee. I now grant you the leave. Leader.
So, Honorable Nominee, back to the question. Page 2 of your CV, you have the BA in Public Administration.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think I would like to correct it. It was 2016 to the year 2020.
The same GIMPA, are the details there correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So you have the certificates for that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And your transcripts?
Yes, please.
Please, what about the 2023 to 2024 Masters in Natural Resources Law, University of Ghana School of Law?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
2024.
I don't remember the exact month, but I think it was around May or April. April or May.
Before I go on, I acknowledge a senior colleague, the Honorable Minister responsible for Agriculture, Food and Agric, correct? Yesterday, his bosom friend and brother was here, and I didn't see him. You also, is it 2 years, or explain?
So there's a mistake there. It's actually SSC. So it was from 2000 to 2002. That's 3 years. So 2000, yes.
So can you take the leave of chairman?
Please, leave is granted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, said your origin is Oti, and the hometown is Likpe Bala, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
That's where daddy comes from,
Yes,
or
Mr.
both?
That's where my father comes from.
Okay. And quite interesting. You speak English, of course, that's no doubt. You speak Fanti, that I attest to it because you speak Fanti.
My guy is 70-30.
Which of them? The Osu one or La or Gamashi Gan?
The
or the
Oponglo
Kanishi?
one. The Oponglo one.
The Ponglo Gan?
Yes, please. I think I'm better than you, small.
Oh, Nyatepea?
Merukui.
Oh. So, you mean you are better than me? Small.
If my answer wouldn't mean you would worry me, then I have to be.
Well, it's unfortunate. Mine was 100%. But when they took me back to Winneba, the Futu, which is the Guan language, took away the Anlo. And by the time I got to St. Augustine's, that was the first time I started my school in Chame. I lived with my grandma. You know, I'm trying to build my capacity on that. So help me.
Mr. Chairman, maybe we can take classes together.
Very well.
20%. Enough to buy something and sell something. And
D'accord. D'accord.
merci beaucoup.
You work as CEO, Melo Foods, 2015 July to present. 2014 dash present, CEO. And if I look at the scope of business, the KSD Ventures, you are talking about supply of building materials and production of ice for fresh fish among the Melo Foods, packaging, distribution of ginger, cabbage and snails, distribution of approximately 50,000, engaging of a small 34,000 bed capacity poultry farm. So, you are a poultry farmer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
How many people do you employ at Melo Foods?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What about KSD Ventures?
Sole proprietorship. I live in East Legon, Mr. Chairman.
Your rented property or your own property?
It's
Family property.
It's a leased property. It was an oversight. Sorry.
So would you
Leave granted, nominee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
that all the amendments you would do, when we are done, you would get it done by your secretariat and furnish same to us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Respectful. Your language use and how you carry yourself. What do you say to those out there who may have an otherwise perception about you? Because this our enterprise is driven by perception. Perhaps some utterances we've made in the public space, how we've gone about things, and to those out there who may not know, as I know, that you are humble and you are respectful. And I would want the records to reflect that this is what I know about you this day. What do you want the public to know about you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the kind words. Like they say, opinions are like...
Family. Opinions are like noses, please. Just,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
yes, I mean,
Everyone has a different opinion of other people. And it's just human nature that before you meet somebody, you would probably have a different perception about them. And I've had that quite a number of times where when people, they had a different perception about me. Some too be rude and arrogant and so on and so forth.
you've not a case. This is Mr. John Dumelo. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. John Dumelo is a love. He believes in peace. He believes in humanity. And he has love for everybody. Thank you.
Do you have a firm belief in the rosary, the power of the rosary?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have one here.
Are you familiar with St. Francis of Assisi's prayer?
No, that one, I didn't get there.
Pardon?
But listening to you in some of the interviews in the vetting committees, yes, you've had a lot. You always say that prayer.
Lord, make me an instrument of your. Ask me a lot. That grace. You know, the Catholic Church has some fraternal societies. The lodge. The Catholic Church also has lodges.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Apart from being a mass servant when I was young, I don't belong to any society in the Catholic Church.
Are you a regular
churchgoer?
No, I'm not going to use churchgoer.
Sorry.
Are you an active member of the church? And if so, which parish do you belong?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just be honest. You've been honest thus far. I mean, just be honest.
When I was in Tema, I entered St. Joseph the Worker Catholic Church.
Before, currently.
No. Okay.
Let's move, because you are the last for the day, correct?
Yes, please.
And we want to finish you quickly. I mean,
you.
Currently, where is your parish? You've not been to church for a long time. You know, let's close this matter.
I attend Mary Mother of Good Counsel Church, Airport.
Regular?
It depends on your definition of
No,
regular.
okay, so I will define it for you. Do you pay your tithe in the church? They have your records of tithe pay?
My dues, yes, please.
You regularly?
Yes, please.
So, John, John,
Mr. Chairman.
John,
They just changed him.
Okay. His name, you know, Archbishop is listening to
Yes.
us. He's watching, and I know many Catholic priests are watching you and I,
Yes.
including all the troublesome Catholics.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as
Honest person.
yes, so far.
You have your rosary with you.
Yes, please.
We have all sinned
Yes,
and fallen short of the glory of God.
that's true.
Don't do this and that. The man you are going to work with, Erico, is that.
Yes.
And then
Yes, please.
that you say you are 10.
Yes.
Is that your parish or not?
Thank
Be
you.
honest with me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do pay my dues. At
No,
that-
we dues, Catholic dues.
Yes.
Dues at the
At the
place.
church, yes,
What
please.
about tithes?
Oh, I pay my tithe.
At the same place?
Yes, please.
But
But I spread it across the other Catholic churches.
No.
As a
Menyo, Amega, Dumega, Mede Kuku now, please. The point is that the father who has just been transferred.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Are you now his counsel at large? Do you remember the name? The
No.
one you say has been transferred.
Mr. Chairman, no, please.
The new one who has come. Do you know his name?
No, please. I've forgotten.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with the marshals? The marshallans? Are you familiar with them? Can you say a bit about the marshallans as a fraternal society in the Catholic Church?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am familiar with them, but I'm not familiar with their dealings.
Okay.
What I do know is that my father was a member of the Knights of St. John's.
Okay.
But apart from that, I don't know anything about them.
Okay, so the Knights of St. John's, you must be a member. Though you are Catholic, before you become a member, you have to be initiated.
Mr.
Yes, not any member of the Catholic Church can enter
Yes,
their assembly, their meetings.
that's true.
And then when you are entering, there's a knock.
Yes.
to identify you as a member
Yes.
who has gone through the...
Yes, please.
All right. And that is not unchristian, correct?
Correct, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes. So it's a fraternal society within the church.
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Let me ask you about your referees. You've written 2 names. How do you know the first one?
Over 10.
So you think that a friend with whom you share the same esprit de corps is okay to be your referee? I mean, in your own view.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I hear you. What about Samuel Dafoe?
Same, Mr. Chairman.
Who is he to you?
He's also a very good friend who I've known for over 10 years.
Okay. What does he do?
He's in
Point attend.
engineering, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So why did you divert from civil engineering to public administration? Because in your educational background, you didn't list it at all. Student, assistant, 6. Then you also said Queen's Hall wanted to understand why.
Mr. Chairman, engineering. Hence, that's why I did.
You leave school in your final year.
I left after my final year.
Oh, so you did the. Then you left to follow your passion.
Yes, please.
For acting.
Yes, please.
Okay, then yours is better than mine.
Please, I don't know about yours, sir.
Also, I'm ready to share.
Yes, please.
Because I did become level 300. I abandoned UCC,
Oh.
and I went to do law.
Oh.
Because I didn't like accounting. In my CV too.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so that's what you did.
Yes, please.
But it's not too late to go and do that one paper to have your degree in civil engineering.
Oh, right now I have 3 other degrees, so I'm okay.
I see.
Yes, please.
It may help. You may try.
Thank you, Mr.
It's just a paper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Now, you have also indicated that your second business, you supply building materials and produce a factory.
Mr. Chairman is in East Legon.
Okay. Is it at where you live?
Next door.
Next door?
Yes, please.
I see.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
So with the leave of the chair, you'll be able to furnish us with taxes paid from 2014 to date, correct?
Correct, Mr.
You can also furnish us with your taxes paid for...
Chairman.
Now, what you have on your... No, Matthew.
On my certificates, no.
On your date of birth, do you have John Matthew Kofi? On your Ghana card, do you have John Matthew Kofi Setor Dumelo?
No, Mr. Chairman.
What name did you register?
No.
So, in the Gazette and the subsequent communication to Parliament, the name there is to Parliament. Have you had the opportunity to see it?
I have, but I didn't pay attention to the name.
Okay. Does it have Matthew?
I may not recall, Mr. Chairman.
It doesn't. Would you want to take the leave of chair to amend the records? Because you are now going into public office, and you don't want unnecessary controversy. This is Ghana. People can be petty. They can get at you on anything. You are now being ushered.
Honorable Nominee, I grant you the leave to do so, to put your official name in the right order and revert it back.
I've been an entrepreneur for the better part of my life. I've had something, and I want to ask you. You started a nice business, sole proprietor, 1984. You are not yet 40, are you?
Mr. Chairman, I'm 41.
41. Very well. You've just public service.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I've handed all the operations to a new person who is now going to...
This offer from Mr. President. So you maintain your seat as an MP and build capacity in the private, because from sole proprietorship, you're likely to grow a manifesto for agriculture. You can tap into it and expand your business and employ more. Don't you think that is a better option? I mean, the executive arm of public service. What do you think?
I disagree with you, Mr. Chairman.
Basis of your disagreement?
Mr. Chairman, because it's always a privilege to be called upon by the President of the Republic of Ghana to serve, do that diligently. Thank you.
It's an astute politician. He argues with facts, and he's not a man to dilly-dally with. To compliment him, you must definitely have something on board. What do you bring on board? The country would want to. I'm happy you don't fear me. I'm
If you asked about you, I would have answered whether I fear you or not. So
No, I don't want you to ask about me. You go ahead and answer.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know he's very knowledgeable. I've been listening to him. I've been studying him. And this is a great opportunity to learn under him. Him being an astute politician and a great farmer and somebody who is very knowledgeable in agriculture. I think this is the best opportunity for me to also learn under him and follow that same path. Thank you, sir.
So now, you know your original T. How many of you deputy ministerial thing so far?
Mr. Chairman, so far, just one person, Honorable Kofi Adams.
Your home so your nomination fills the Greater Accra space. At the same time, it also fills the OT card. So you are from Greater Accra. Oh, okay. John, it looks like you have some presidential ambition.
Oh,
Yes, because because there's going to be vacancy. No, it's a privilege to serve your nation. Don't run away from it. No. Don't run away. You are an actor, a businessman, an MP. Come 2028, there will be vacancy. Ashanti, Masa, you qualify. You are 41. You overqualified. In fact, you will be 44 in your prime age. Okay, so not now.
Mr. Chairman, if it's the will of God,
Yeah, all right.
everyone who enters politics aspires to, obviously.
2058, you'll be. How old would you be in 2058?
Very old.
Because we are here hearing Eriko Poku, Julius Debra, Asedu Katia, Asedu Fabako, Asedu Katia Fabako, Julius Debra Fabako, Melusu Fabako.
Leader. Leader. Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, I also heard your name.
Just one second, leader. I haven't said that. I was just You are leading the nominee into a very dangerous territory. With all due respect, you are completely out of order.
Very well, that's all. John, you know, and I know I've gotten it wrong. You shouldn't take anything away from me to say I'm sorry. It would help me to learn. If I don't do it in the night, I do it in the morning to check what I did the previous day. Was I too harsh? Was I too hard on myself? Did I do it right? Get some friends to straighten me up. When we mount the campaign platform, the rallies, we sometimes slip. Do you agree that we sometimes slip?
Yes.
And see how you would recall anything politically, you've said, particularly so against your opponent, the former. What have you to tell her?
Mr. Chairman, the words I used, I apologized accordingly the day after.
Okay. But they are not on social media.
Mr. Chairman, it's on social media.
No, I mean your apology as well.
It is, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Do you have vis-a-vis the privacy of your business life?
Mr. Chairman, no, please. I don't have any regrets.
John, how would you want to inspire the youth of Ghana? Particularly so, you coming from the area, your constituency is largely of the academia stock, full of academics, students. What do you hope to inspire them with?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, for me, I want to inspire people to be able to follow their passion, follow what they want to do, and do it well. I'm a man of probably many talents. In the movie industry, I think I did quite well. In the business industry, I think I'm doing quite well. And politics, I'm yet to do well. And so when some people look at me, they might be inspired to follow their dreams and follow their passions and make Ghana a better place.
Food and agriculture. Be honest about it.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
You've read it.
Yes, please.
What's the policy on food and agriculture?
Well, our policy on food and agriculture is simple. It's to just create food sufficiency for Ghana. It's to feed the industry and feed ourselves.
Strategy. How do you hope to achieve that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the feed ourselves, we hope to produce more. We hope to reduce post-harvest losses. We hope to feed the industry, and we hope to feed ourselves and export the rest. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Now, how does this fit into your slogan, 24-hour economy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Ghana is one country that has just about one farming season. Our policy and our plan is to be able to farm all year round. Now, if you want to farm all year round, that means we would have excess food items available to be able to feed the industry. Now, once we have excess and we are feeding the industry all year round, definitely these industries have to run 24 hours. And so that's how come we'll fit into the 24-hour economy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So what is the 24-hour economy? What is the 24-hour economy
Mr. Chairman,
of the NDC?
Mr. Chairman,
Share with us.
the 24-hour economy is one job, 3 shifts, 3 people. We don't see why Ghana should stop working at 5, move the economy forward. And so that is the 24-hour economy.
Which sectors are you going to focus on? The nation is listening to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so almost all the sectors.
Yes, please.
Oh, I see. Right.
Those
And
that deem it fit to be under the 24-hour.
fit into it. There's going to be a certain framework, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
When is that framework to be expected? Of February?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
When should we expect this framework?
Mr. Chairman, the budget is yet to be read, and I'm sure when it's read,
Our economy secretariat at your ministry, where companies will be encouraged to register in exchange for some incentives?
thank you, Mr. Chairman. If rightly so, if that becomes very necessary, yes, we would have a 24-hour economy secretariat at the Ministry of Food and Agric. Not, yes, thank you.
Leader,
Okay, go ahead.
please.
You go ahead. Look, I'm not asking him policy questions.
I said earlier and then before, and you are pretty much a smart guy yourself, and you are aware of this. The nominee is here as a deputy minister designate for the minister. He is not a policy advice to you as my brother, as you do advise me, is that let's stay away from policy issues. Thank you very much, Leader. Please, you can continue.
Honorable member for Awutu Senya. He is on oath. And all convo must cease. So, explain.
Intervention and distraction.
No, not you. Hey, it's not possible.
Mr. Chairman, please, to which of the questions?
My last question.
About how it will fit into,
Whether in the modeling,
yes.
the framework, there's going to be a desk or a secretariat at the Ministry of Agriculture for those companies, those entities in that sector to apply under your 24-hour economy.
Mr. Chairman, in consultation with my boss, if it deems fit, yes, we might set up a desk.
Wait. In consultation with your boss,
Yes, please.
you are going to do what? I want to understand, because we are recording you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You know, it's not enough to be on the rally grounds. What in consultation with your minister? Tell us.
If he so pleases,
Is the ministry
If he-
been and won the 2024 elections, correct?
correct, if it becomes necessary, sir,
So it may not be necessary to set it up.
and it can be necessary, sir.
Okay, we've taken note. Now, input, particularly insecticides, fertilizers, do not enjoy exemption for duties on them.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
Now, do you know that this exemption that was denying that sector is really affecting the industry? Because you are a member of that industry.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Once again, one of our slogans was resetting Ghana. And so if it deems fit for us to be able to
Suggest to your minister to bring back the exemptions so that those in the agro industry will enjoy that incentive to make it cheaper for the agro sector.
Mr. Chairman, in consultation with my boss, if it becomes necessary, yes.
I'm just reminding you that your party in the past. So if you are talking about going to happy to receive this incentive, so repeat that assurance so that the records will capture you properly.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
listening to you.
it wasn't an assurance. It was in consultation with my boss. If it becomes necessary, we will implement it. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, since 2008,
Proud to this, were you into politics, MPP?
Mr. Chairman, please, are you asking me if I was ever a member of the MPP?
That MPP as an example. I'm saying prior to this, were you into politics, like say being an MPP member or CPP?
No, Mr. Chairman. Man, I worked hard for it, sir.
Menyolo.
Madakuku.
Now, what should your people in Likpe expect from? You know, the Oti region, you're so endowed with agro potential. People, the farmers, predominantly farmers, now they've seen that one of their own is going into the ministry. What should the region expect? Oti region. The farmers are listening to you. John Dumelo, the gentle, honest, humble politician.
Mr. Chairman, the whole of clear needs and wants in terms of agriculture. And so with Oti region, of course, I'm into ginger. They do a lot of ginger. And onions, I'll support them. I'm supporting all the farmers generally, not just Oti region. Thank you.
John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the unemployment problem is a national problem. And we in the NDC, about to reset the country, will make sure that we'll create a lot of employment opportunities, especially in the agri space. And so it's a national problem, and we are here to fix it. We might not be able to fix all, but we'll fix some. Thank you.
Have you become aware of discussions in the public space as a result of the directive of the Chief of Staff? Have you become aware?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Are some of these your constituents?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Have they come to appeal to you to help them get their jobs back?
Mr. Chairman, my understanding is those who and those who will not be re-employed will not be re-employed. And so that's the understanding that I have.
Yes. So what, if you pay attention to me, it will be helpful. However, you have given me some information that your understanding is that those who have lost their jobs, those situations are being reviewed, and those to be taken back will be taken back. Now, don't you think that the appropriate thing, therefore, would have been to keep these guys in employment and finish the review so that you take a final decision after the review, rather than terminating the appointment that they should all go home in their thousands? I say so because you state that some are your constituents and they've come to you.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think so. I think that sometimes when matters are being investigated, they ask you
to terminate, to dismiss, because this is not assault. They say you agree to that,
yes,
that they should be sacked,
they
have been sacked.
They've not been sacked.
What have they done?
They've been sacked, but they might be recalled upon review.
Okay, so let's stay there a bit. Now, these your constituents who have lost their jobs.
Mr. Chairman, I've been telling them to hold on, that everything
have been approaching you.
Not that many.
You had 100, 200, 150?
Maybe 15. Yes, sir.
Are you aware that the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, that had a lot of nurses posted to rural communities, have been sent home in the name of this review, sacked, and people are suffering at the countryside, in the hinterland, you have passion for humanity, love for humanity. Do you think that these Ghanaians must go through this? Especially those who are not getting healthcare support because the nurses have been fired. And even the schools, that teachers have been fired. And these students in rural communities do not have access to quality teaching.
Mr. Chairman, like I stated earlier on, the appointments will be reviewed and those who will be re-employed will be re-employed.
And not based on partisan consideration.
I believe so, Mr. Chairman.
Now, on your ticket, earlier in the vetting, you told companies, but in your tax certificate, the personal income tax, PIT, we only have your assessment for 2023. And the Commissioner General tells us that 2024 is nil. Why haven't you filed your 2024 taxes?
Mr. Chairman, I think with that I would have to confer with my tax expert to find out why that is so.
Because it's quite, I find it very curious because without filing for 2024, you couldn't have registered. I don't want to trigger any by-election. And revert to us at least before we.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, at least for the record, let the prayer be made by him.
Honorable nominee, please go ahead.
Please, which prayer? Please, I'd like to request that I provide the necessary documents.
Absolutely.
2024 tax obligation to the state. So make that prayer.
Mr. Chairman, I pledge to provide all the necessary documents with reference to the 2024 tax obligations.
Now, I also note that on your tax clearance, your declaration, the application you made was in reference to KSD Ventures. So, do I take it that it's a composite application for all the entities you own?
I believe so, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Now, this sector, agric, food, vis-a-vis incentives to be available. Those who are, repeat, please silence on that wing so that the nominee can focus. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, ever since I got into the agric space, or ever since social media engagements, I have had a lot of people wanting to get into the agric space. But what I tell them is that not everybody can be a farmer. And so you have the whole value chain. You have those who farm, you have those who provide transport, you have those who provide agric inputs, you have those who add value to it. And I feel and I believe that ever since I made it very public that I'm into farming, a lot more young people have gotten into agriculture, which is a good thing. Because if you look at the average age of farmers in Ghana, we are the agricultural bus. Thank you, Mr.
When it comes to agriculture, the young men and women that you want to inspire to get into agriculture, get into farming, especially the graduates, people who are done with uni and moving to office with CVs that you would want to encourage to get into agriculture, one of their worries will be capital, money, funding. How do you hope to address this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, in all my engagements across the country when I'm speaking to the youth, I tell them to always start small, and they shouldn't look at the bigger picture. They should look at the bigger picture, but they should always start. If your dream is to have 2,000 goats, just start with 1 or 2. If your dream is to make or add value to whatever it is you're producing, just start the experience. You're likely to crash. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So from the NDC's manifesto, particularly your policy on food and agriculture, should the Ghanaian youth be assured that you are going to provide capital to agriculture?
Giving you items to start with, like the Nkukon Kitinkiti project. And so with the Nkukon Kitinkiti project, we are giving you day-old chicks, we are giving you some farm input, we are giving you farming. We are just going to give you some small capacity building. Thank you.
So when do we expect this? When should we really expect this?
Mr. Chairman, in consultation with my boss,
2028.
correct.
The 4 years started counting from the 7th of January. So there is no time. Those will be advising that chase your political opponent. You have to tell them that it's about jobs for the people, not persecution of opponent. Because persecution of opponent seems to have started, but the jobs for the people, not yet. So when the country would want to know, they've heard you on talking about what your opponents have done wrong. They've heard you, but what about your own mandate? When are you going to start? At least give an indication. Your boss is here. Leave can be granted for you to consult him.
Mr. Chairman, in consultation with my boss, we'll let the House know when we can start.
Very well. We'll take you for your word. This is about.
Thank you, Mr.
I've
Chairman.
seen one of my mates right behind you. He's giving a signal that we should end soon. But
Thank you, Mr.
But it
Chairman.
will be done soon.
Thank you.
These are relevant matters for the industry, especially as you are a young man.
Yes, please.
Your campus people would want to know the promises you bring on board in the area you've been nominated for.
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the area of agriculture, or in the area of business, what we realize is that women are always a formidable force. They are almost always the ones who can do business and do it well. But unfortunately, access to credit or fund to establish the women banking, to be able to businesses, they can create more businesses and create more jobs for the economy. Thank you.
So a bank is going to be established, correct?
Rightly so, Mr. Chairman.
With the state as the sole shareholder.
I'm not aware of the modalities, but what I do know is that a facility or a bank will be established to lend money to women.
With branches across the nation?
Rightly so, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So we have the NEIP, we have MASLOC, we have the Ghana Enterprise Agency. Particularly Ghana Enterprise Agency is so effective that you don't even need to know somebody to access that facility. You think that all these are not enough?
No, Mr. Chairman. With the kind of economy that we have, all these are not enough.
At all. The resetting of Ghana. This whole reset, what is it all about? Share with us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, in the last 8 years, our economy hasn't been that good. And hasn't been that good. Hence, the need to reset Ghana. Hence the need to reset Ghana in all aspects of the economy.
When you say our economy hasn't been that good, I want to appreciate the context. Are you relating it to the COVID that struck the world, the external shocks vis-a-vis the Russian-Ukraine war, and other external factors? Or what? What exactly do you mean by improper context? I want to understand you. Are you referring to the COVID that struck the world, where for a whole year, the whole world was in a form of a lockdown, where there was no production, where government had to pay public sector workers even when no revenue has been generated, where GRA could not go out to take? Please explain to me what exactly you mean by the last 8 years the economy hasn't been that good.
Confessed that the economy was bad. And so I'm just reiterating what they said to say that the economy wasn't that good, hence the need for the NDC to reset Ghana in the right direction. No, Mr. Chairman.
Then in what sense? I mean, I just need you to...
The external shocks affected everybody.
Right.
But Ghana wasn't able to drive. You
Right.
mentioned Russia, Ukraine. But Russia, Ukraine, and COVID affected almost every country in the world. Some were able to navigate out of it, some couldn't.
Some of the countries that did a successful navigation...
Relatively,
No,
Ghana did poor.
Which are... No, it's okay. I'm happy with the conversation. I mean, this is a public discussion and for the records. Share with us those countries that, in your view, and you can limit yourself to the sub-region, those countries in the sub-region out of the COVID and met expectation. And unfortunately, Ghana could not. Please.
Mr. Chairman, I'm only repeating what some of your party members said during their campaign time. That
This is the honorable nominee.
yes, sir.
Let's not go into campaign. Now you are a public officer.
Yes, please.
Okay? Where you rely on data and facts. If you don't want to base your argument on some facts, statistics, and data, then let's retreat and then make progress. But if we are going to say things that people say on campaign platform, even my own party members, as you're saying, then we cannot make progress as a nation.
Mr. Chairman, let's retreat and make progress, please.
Chairman, that will be all for him.
Thank you very much, Leader. I will try and end proceedings very soon. But I want to take you back, and I hope members will permit me. I want to take you back to the economy. Since Leader raised the economy issue. I want to know how you are going to help your minister in trying to resolve the last 8 years. If you look at the inflation numbers, and this is a fact, if you look at of the inflation numbers, biggest component of that inflation was food inflation. Today, as inflation is coming down, what that clearly tells you, and economists or whoever, statisticians or whoever you engage will tell you, is that we are not providing sufficient food for ourselves. Here, I'm segregating the inflation, the food inflation, to domestic food and food that comes from outside. And they are both affected by inflation. But a chunk of that inflation, that is food inflation, is also a domestic food inflation. For the last 8 years, the government has just come in. So they will have nothing to do with food insecurity at this stage. As the budget is coming very soon. With the budget for the last 8 years, which we have here in Parliament, and you will notice that food inflation has persistently been high for the last 8 years. Which is to do with the economy. The growth of Ghana has been declining. growth is going up. When you look at the curve, the food component of the growth. Chairman, you have had 2 hours to make progress. I'm using 10 minutes to make my progress. Right. So, I just want to find out from you, since we have this serious challenge with inflation, can you assure us that you will support your minister, who I know is very passionate with food inflation, in domestic food, food grown in Ghana, not imported food? Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would support my minister to do that. Thank you.
Sorry, I was trying to, nominee, you have given me the assurance. You have, please.
Yes, please. I've given the assurance together with my boss, the substantive minister.
I don't know whether to call this an ambush or not, but no. I will reluctantly yield. It's Dr. Henry Osayakutu is also here. Honorable Frimpon is also here. I just want to make sure.
Honorable Frimpon is not there.
Well, I just want to make sure we wrap this up. I have granted, what the leader has said. I just wanted to make sure the members that we are talking about are actually here in the room. Okay, I will start with, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, how many questions am I entitled to? 3.
Yes, 3.
Okay.
Why you like that?
Yes, you are familiar with cocoa. My first question, there are disturbing reports that some farmers are miners, what we call the galamsey. Apart from the promise that the minister made, the cocoa farmers will be paid 70% of the world market price. Apart from that, not offer their cocoa farms to galamseyers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know that the answer that my boss, giving the cocoa farmers the right price, will deter them from selling their cocoa farms. The second one is also to restructure or structure the whole mining industry well, so that wherever they mine, they will not be able to affect these.
Follow-up question. So when should farmers expect the 70%?
October, that's when they review the prices. But I'm in no position to commit myself when it comes to the commencement of the new prices.
The opening of the cocoa season, the price was reviewed in between. So are you telling cocoa farmers that the new price will not be announced until the new season?
Mr. Chairman, in consultation with my boss, we'll be able to give the right answer at the appropriate time.
All right, Chairman, still on cocoa. There are a lot of discussions.
Is that your second question?
Yeah, my second question, Chairman.
All right, thank you.
There are a lot of discussions about the involvement of the private sector in the external marketing of cocoa. What is your position on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have to be very innovative when it comes to the cocoa sector. And if that would improve our market share, a very good suggestion. But like I always
Chairman, my last question. I've gone through your manifesto. So it's elaborate on crops, production of crops, and also to some extent on poultry county. Does it mean that you are going to neglect the production of ruminants, because you know protein intake in Ghana is so. If the concentration is only on poultry, how sure are you that the intake of protein in Ghana, can increase, Because if you look at address the production of meat adequately, what assurance can you give to Ghanaians when it comes to
Equip our breeding centers, our livestock breeding centers. In the past, they haven't really been equipped, and what we are going to do is to really equip them. And an example, it out into the particular district. And so we'll try as much as possible to decentralize the breeding centers so that more people can have access to the new breeds that are available for us to have multiple production.
He's done.
And also giving me the opportunity. Respectively, my name is Seth Oseakoto, not Henry. Seth Oseakoto, respectively. That's my name. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Honorable nominee, congratulations that along the line, your passion has driven you into certain areas, including in the agriculture sector. So far, can you tell us or share with us that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first challenge is access to credit. Access to credit for me to be able to expand. The second challenge is our land tenure system. Sometimes you go to certain places, you negotiate for the land, they give you the go-ahead. After a year or two, when they realize that everything is going on well, they'll tell you that they want their land back. And this problem is not just peculiar to me, but peculiar to machinery. I can take the challenges that I face and other farmers are faced, but the most important one is access to
the credit. When the minority leader was asking you some questions, he did mention about women's banking. Do you think with that you can be able to address some of the challenges in agriculture? Thank you.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Second question, bank's website. That is indicating that there will be food insecurity in West and Central African countries, including Ghana. Leader who married the two to avert such calamity in Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Recently, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture launched the Irrigation for Wealth Creation, and that is to irrigate over 10,000 hectares of land. Now, what that means, there's going to be food all year round. And so, yes, even though the World Bank has said that there might be some food shortages in the next coming years, we hope and pray that in the next coming years also to be able to farm all year round and to affect such a problem, to avert such a problem. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, follow up. You made a mention about irrigation.
Hold on. You said a follow-up?
Yes.
I thought the last one was your follow-up.
You made mention about irrigation. As a practitioner, have you done some calculations to know how much to put land under irrigation, even for 1 hectare or 2 hectares? Thank you.
Thank you. The type of the land, the type of the water, and the type of the soil. but most especially the type of land. And so, yes, there's been some form of calculation that has gone on. But the main aim or our primary concern right now is to be able to get water onto the land for us to be able to feed our plants. And that is the main aim. It might cost us, but at the long run, if you just pose that to hunger, I think it's definitely.
My last question. As a country, there's influx of food imported into the country. How would you support the honorable minister?
If I may give an example, like tomatoes, we do import a lot of tomatoes from our neighboring countries. And so, implementation of this irrigation scheme, we'll be able to, we are trying as much as possible, food import bill. Thank you so much.
Honorable nominee, the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will now move to Honorable Frimpong. Yeah, Honorable, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. John, congratulations on your nomination. And I will ask you just a few questions. John, you are going to a ministry where...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do know about the PFJ1 and the PFJ2. What I can say is that I haven't read much into it, but what I can also say is that there will be some form of review to continue those that we have to continue and discontinue, or even modify some of the things that we have to do, because this is the agricultural space on the table. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Basically, the name of the ministry is Food and Agriculture. It is very instructive to note that the food component is the key. So if you have these documents, that painstaking research has gone into the development of these projects. You're going there. When you get the note, you've just glanced through them. What have you noticed in them that you think could be positive to support your minister?
Honorable, please hold on a second. Is a deputy minister designate to the substantive minister. He is not here to answer, because that's not what you are here for.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, this benevolent dictatorship, but I don't think I would take it, Mr. Chairman. No.
You. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Mr. Chairman, but if you say I should not ask any political...
I said any question that is a policy question,
Yes.
It's not what we are here for.
Oh, Mr. Chairman.
And therefore, I'm guiding you. Please, go ahead with your question. You are a special request that I have granted. Please go ahead. It's a special request I've granted.
But, Mr.
Please.
Chairman, respectfully, yes. I take a cue. Thank you so much. Yes.
I want you to draw
Thank you so
attention.
much. Mr. Chairman, I want to find out from John. I know, John, you are going to you are aware of, you just mentioned in one of the answers about food security and all that. Do you have an idea about the crops that Ghana is self-sufficient and those that Ghana is not self-sufficient?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With self-sufficiency, I would mention maize, I would mention yam, I would mention plantain. These are just a few items that we are self-sufficient in. The self-insufficient, I would mention rice.
Quite noisy. We've been here for a while. We have got our guests here who have been sitting here also for a very long time. We want to wrap this up as quickly as possible. So please, honorable members, let's allow honorable member to ask his questions and allow the nominee to answer. Do not engage the nominee. He is under oath. Please. Honorable member, continue.
For the items that are...
I just want to correct something he just said. Because he mentioned maize as one of those that you are self-sufficient
please go ahead.
in.
Go ahead.
But you just also mentioned that you mentioned maize as one of the crops that we are not self-sufficient in. That's contradictory. So you better correct yourself. Affecting agriculture seriously. Food, crop production, recommendations you give to your minister when giving the nod for us to circumvent the drudgery of climate change in food.
It has an effect on agriculture. Quite recently, in recent times, you have excessive flooding, you have excessive drought, and so on and so forth. And this obviously has affected our food production. And so with the excessive drought, some of the solutions will be the irrigation scheme that we talked about. With the excessive floods, what we can do is to plant more trees to be able to be a shield when it comes to irrigation. And so these are some of the few things that we can do, and I'll suggest to my men that are resistant or have seeds that are resistant to some of these droughts or some of these
question. John, this is a general question. I know you're a civil engineer, right? You're a civil engineer.
No, please.
Come again?
No. Yeah.
All right. I was going to ask you if you know about the irrigation schemes that we have in this country. Do you have an idea how many irrigation schemes you have in this country?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we do have approximately 223 irrigation schemes in this country, out of which 189 are functional. The second largest is the Tono one, which covers about 2,400 hectares of land.
Chairman.
So much, sir.
You, honorable member, this, before you go on, leader, this is a special dispensation. Concluded the meeting with the last names given to me by the honorable minority leader.
Don't go on the 217.
I am inviting you to come in because Honorable Patricia says that she's yielded her question twice, actually. One in the leader's.
When was that?
Leader. So please go ahead.
Chairman, thank you, but is as a leader of this house to participate and ask questions. It's by right. And then...
not when the meeting is actually closed. I've given you...
Honorable Dumelo, classmate, we study masters to get ability. I don't... have you ever described your opponent as a bloodily widow?
Honorable member, this question was asked by the minority leader and it's been answered. You were not, and you are expecting an answer from him. That I will not take as an angle, unless you add an angle to what you have said so far.
Okay, Chairman, even though that question was asked, and like I said, you know, I wanted to lay the foundation that having known him and then being with him, I don't know he will be somebody who will say something against women. I wanted to establish the fact that because when that alleged statement foundation, the person that I know to be able to say whether he's a woman, he's a person who is a background I wanted to lay.
And address the chair. Please go ahead and answer, Honorable Nominee.
Mr. Chairman, please, no.
So now I'll bring you back to when we were studying together. It's okay, because the way Honorable Baba, congratulations, is saying, I don't want to go much. She wants me to say, if you go to the ministry, try to assist your minister. The ministry is a very, it's big, it's huge, and you should not try to jump the gun And also note that when you go to the ministry, succeed. I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I congratulate the nominee.
Thank you very much, honorable members, that we have exhausted all the questions that we have this to acknowledge the guest lists that I'm holding. And these are people who came, or friends and family who are here to support the nominee. Godfrey Ashizani, spokesperson for La Baoshi, or Baoleshi, forgive me. I know. Baoleshi, Traditional Council. And then Mrs. Gifty Demelo, the Benjamin Abonye of Strategic Communication, Ministry of Finance. Raphael Lutroy, Mr. John Terry Maleza, Miss Sana Boatin, Abobi, Mr. He says Abobi, Mr. Kwame Nkrumah Botio, CPP General Secretary, Dr. Felix Kamasa, President of the Ghana Producers of Vegetables and Exporters. And the last and not the least is Mr. James Gardner to support the nominee. I would like to bring the curtains to a close and say to the nominee that you are discharged. Thank you very much. And just before, which is a message that was agreed between myself and the minority leader, that at the end of proceedings of yesterday and today, we have agreed by consensus of the nominees we have vetted. Thank you very much.